Hello and welcome. We're grateful that you've chosen to be a part of Project Transformation Arkansas this summer. You may be volunteering as a reading buddy, but you're not just helping a child read, you're showing up for them. You're building trust, offering encouragement, and creating a space where they feel seen and valued. If you're new here, Project Transformation is a faith based nonprofit organization that launched in Arkansas in 2022. Our mission is to transform communities by engaging children, young adults, and churches in purposeful relationships. We envision a world that is rooted in love, pursues the equity of all people, and amplifies God's call on every life. We at Project Transformation are big on relationships. They're at the heart of everything that we do. Children who come to Project Transformation are here for the whole summer. We'll see most of them for all 8 weeks of our summer camp. Our camp occurs Monday to Thursday from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Reading happens from around 10 a.m. until noon. College-age young adults lead our other components, so children are also participating in games and recreation, arts and crafts, and other fun summer activities throughout this time. So, as you sit down with a child this summer to read, remember the relationship that you build matters just as much as the reading itself. At the same time, reading is incredibly important. We know that in Arkansas, roughly two-thirds of children are not reading on grade level at the end of third grade. And around fourth grade, children shift from learning to read to reading in order to learn. And we know that when students struggle with reading early on, it can impact their confidence and their success in school for years to come. That's why this time matters so much. The consistency of sitting down, opening a book, and reading together for as little as 20 minutes a day can make a difference in preventing the summer slide or in preventing the loss of learning that can happen over the summer months. So, today we want to give you a few simple tools to help you feel confident and prepared. So, first, let's talk about getting started. Remember, it's always best to introduce yourself before you start reading. When you arrive for reading time, you'll be paired with a child or maybe two by our reading coordinator. You'll receive your child's folder, and on that folder, it will be labeled with a colored sticker. Next, you'll move to the library to choose a book together. Each book is labeled with a colored sticker, and your child should be trying to find books that have a sticker with the color that matches that which is on their folder. As you choose a book together, remember to give the child that you're working with some ownership in that opportunity. Let them have a say in what they're reading. When kids are interested in what they're reading, they're more engaged and more willing to try. Children may want to visit the library often, so you may want to pick out a few books when you go the first time, especially if they're reading shorter, not chapter books. Otherwise, you'll find yourself back at the bookshelves when you really should be spending that time reading. Once you've picked out your books, find a comfortable place to sit together and begin. Please make a note to sit in the chairs or the pews that are provided and encourage your child or children to sit beside you. It will be easier for you to read if you're sitting together side by side. If your reader is ready and eager, let them go ahead and start reading. If they seem unsure or hesitant or stuck, you might want to begin reading out loud and then invite them to join when they're ready. Sometimes just hearing someone else start can take the pressure off. The goal is to make reading feel safe and not stressful. Now, you'll notice that the children you work with will be at different stages in their reading journey. Some are just beginning, others are more confident readers, and each child will need something a little bit different from you. Let's start with children who are still learning the basics. For early readers or pre readers, reading time might not always look like reading a full book cover to cover, and that's okay. You might need to break up books by spending time recognizing letters, practicing sounds, or playing simple word games. Our reading coordinators will have some games, whiteboards, flashcards, and other materials to help you. But there's still quite a lot you can do with just a little imagination. First, you can help them connect letters to sounds, like noticing what sound the letter B makes, and then looking for words around the room that start with that sound. You can also practice rhyming. You might try to think of words that sound alike together. Words like cat, hat, and bat. These kinds of activities build important skills that support reading later on. You will always be able to turn to the reading coordinator for help or to find an appropriate activity to support your reader. For all of our readers, if they get stuck on a word, Gently encourage them to look at each letter, say the sounds, and try to blend them together. Give them time and let them try. And when they do figure it out, make sure to celebrate that success. If a student is really struggling, you may need to step in and offer help. Again, we want to make sure that kids have a positive experience with reading. So if you're sensing a lot of frustration, you might offer the word and just keep going. Most readers are working on 3 main things: reading smoothly, understanding new words, and making sense of the story. Let's talk about reading smoothly, or what we call fluency. Fluency means reading in a way that sounds natural, almost like talking. Not too choppy, not too rushed. You can help them with this by modeling good reading. You might read a page out loud and then let your reader try. Or you can take turns reading. Rereading is also a great way to build confidence and fluency. If a page comes out choppy at first, you might try again. And each time the reader reads, it will become a little bit easier. Sometimes even using silly voices for characters can make reading more fun and help them to stay engaged. You can make the voices, and you can challenge children to read in a silly voice as well. Next is vocabulary. If your reader comes across a word they don't know, pause briefly and give them a quick, simple explanation. You can check their vocabulary by asking if they do indeed know the word. And try not to turn it into a long lesson. A short definition is enough, and then you can keep going so that they don't lose the flow of the story. Finally, we want to make sure that we're working on comprehension, or understanding what they're reading. It's helpful to talk about the story, but timing does matter. You might want to ask questions before you start reading. Something simple, like, what do you think this book will be about? You may also ask a few questions while you read, but save most of your questions for the end of the book. After you finish, you might want to ask questions like, what happened in the story? Which part did you like best? Or how do you think that character felt? Now, throughout all of this, your encouragement matters more than anything. If a child struggles, that's okay. Avoid jumping too quickly to correct every mistake. Give them a moment to try, and instead of focusing on what they're doing wrong, notice what they're doing well. You might say things like, I like how you keep trying, or you figured that word out, or great job sticking with it. Your words help build their confidence, and confident readers are more willing to keep going. At the end of your reading time, you'll help us by filling out a simple reading log. You'll write down the books that you read and reflect briefly on how it went. At PT, we use what we call the 3 bears system. You'll note whether the book they read was too easy and they flew right through it. If it was just right, they struggled some, but it was doable. Or if the book was too difficult, if they really couldn't get much of the book read. Please make sure that you put the child's name, your name, and the date on your reading log. These logs help our reading coordinators support each child and make sure that they're getting what they need. Make sure that you also make any notes about the day. Was your reader tired? Did they enjoy the flashcards? Do they love a certain series? Write it down in your notes to help us and your fellow readers make connections. Thank you again for taking time out of your day to be a reader. Remember, at PT, everyone can make a difference. You don't have to do everything perfectly. We just ask that you show up, be present, and be patient. Know that through something as simple as reading a book together, you are helping shape our children's confidence, their love of reading, and their sense of belonging. Thank you for being part of this work. We're so grateful for you, and we can't wait to see the impact you'll make this summer. Now that you've watched this video, please let us know. You can email smetters@ptarkansas.org with the name of your favorite book character so that we know you're ready to read. Thank you again. See you soon.